I'm confused by this political message. Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America sucks list. I don't get it. You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave? 59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good. Maybe the problem isn't that America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it.
Maher doesn't hold back as he accuses the Democrats, his own party, of turning their backs on America. The comedian has made it his mission to expose what he sees as some of the party's biggest flaws, especially its growing hostility toward American patriotism. So what sparked Maher's strong reaction, and what did he say about his own side? Hit the subscribe button and let's get started.
Every election year, Democrats seem to remember patriotism for about an hour at their convention when they're trying to win back swing voters. The whole message of Kamala's speech in 2024 was take back the flag. That's why she talked about America like a pageant contestant.
The greatest privilege on earth. The privilege and pride of being an American.
Hard to believe she lost, huh? Well, you can't take back the flag in an hour if the rest of the time you treat patriotism as something vaguely embarrassing. It shouldn't be, even though we are far from perfect.
Maher argues that this pattern is hard to ignore. How often do prominent Democrats and progressives speak about America in ways that sound more critical than appreciative? He points to figures like Chuck Schumer, and Maher argues that America is too often portrayed as the problem, while other countries are presented as better examples. He believes patriotism becomes more visible during election campaigns, with flags and patriotic speeches, but fades afterward as criticism of the country returns.
1976, when I was wearing that t-shirt with my nut hugger shorts. America wasn't exactly crushing it then either. Inflation was around 6%. Mortgage rates were almost 9%. There was actually a thing called the misery index. The average person earned far less than they do today. They had a smaller house and watched a tiny TV that had 3 channels, mostly I Love Lucy reruns. The closest thing we had to euphoria was Three's Company.
Maher argues that many Democrats often romanticize the 1970s and 1980s, describing them as a better time. But he says that kind of nostalgia does not reflect reality. In his view, America was not necessarily better off then than it is today. Maher sums up his point by arguing that today's opportunities, access to information, and overall quality of life outweigh idealized memories of the past. He even suggests that, in some ways, the country is doing better now than it did during earlier Democratic administrations. Coming from a liberal, that is a striking claim and one that challenges many of the familiar narratives within his own party.
Many liberals give the impression that to them, America is just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking, and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective. 72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land.
Maher criticizes Democratic lawmaker Cori Bush and the broader discussion about America being built on stolen land, arguing that this kind of rhetoric presents an overly negative view of the country. Maher argues that some politicians focus too heavily on America's flaws while overlooking its progress and achievements. He believes this trend has become more common within his own party, where criticism of the nation's past can overshadow recognition of its growth and successes.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
Maher argues that AOC's response to victory over Kamala Harris reflects a broader problem within parts of the progressive movement. In his view, some leaders seem more willing to blame voters than reconsider their own message. Maher argues that instead of asking why millions of Americans voted the way they did, some simply assume those voters were wrong. He believes many rejected ideas they associated with woke culture in favor of what they saw as more practical policies, arguing that voters naturally choose the candidates and ideas they believe best reflect their priorities.
But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privileged we are? Immigrants.
Maher argues that Democrats' continued support for socialist ideas is difficult to understand because, in his view, capitalism played a major role in America's success. He believes the country's economic strength, innovation, and opportunities grew through free markets and individual ambition rather than central planning or government control. Maher also points to what he sees as differences in wealth and personal freedom between the United States and many countries with socialist systems. Because of that, he questions what he views as a contradiction in some left-wing arguments. In his opinion, it is inconsistent to celebrate America while opposing the economic system he believes helped build its success.
But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember that.
Maher's message is straightforward. He argues that if Democrats want to lead the country again, they must first show that they genuinely value it. In his view, it is difficult to earn voters' trust after years of criticizing the nation, questioning its history, and challenging its values. Maher believes America, despite its flaws and ongoing challenges, remains a country built on opportunity, resilience, and the chance to create a better life. He argues that people around the world still see value in those ideals. According to Maher, unless Democrats reconnect with that perspective, they will continue to face the same challenge whenever they ask voters to return them to power.
If you run for office in America, you have to want to live here. I bring this up because there was a video that made the rounds recently by a woman who said she was a proud progressive and was running for state representative in New Hampshire, and yet posted this.
Is there a place we can move that people would be happy to have us, that we're not gentrifying or colonizing? I don't want to be a problem, but I need to get the out of this country.
This country. The one you want to be elected to a leadership position in? What was your campaign slogan? America, a shining on a hill?
Maher argues that Democrats seeking public office should show that they genuinely want to live in and lead the country. He points out that, over the years, some people, particularly on the left, have said they would leave America if politics did not go their way, suggesting they viewed the country more as a burden than a privilege. Maher highlights what he sees as the irony of that position. He questions how candidates can ask voters to trust them with the nation's future after publicly saying they would rather live somewhere else. In his view, that contradiction weakens the message of those who claim to be committed to public service.
Again, I'm confused by this political message. Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America Sucks list. Things like being 54th in the world in infant mortality behind Cuba, 19th in literacy behind Russia, 72nd in female representation in government behind Iraq. A lot of work to do here. And is it possible for a country to lose itself so much that leaving it is justified? Yes, but we're not there yet, not by a long shot, and we don't need quitters. We need people who will stay and fix it.
Maher is not arguing that America is perfect. He acknowledges that economic inequality, political division, and other long-standing problems deserve serious attention. Recognizing those challenges, he says, is not unpatriotic, but simply realistic. No country has ever been without flaws. At the same time, Maher argues that America remains one of the best places to live, work, and build a future despite its shortcomings. He believes the opportunities and freedoms it offers are difficult to match. In his view, that reality conflicts with portrayals of America as fundamentally broken or beyond repair. Maher argues the country is far more complex and far more hopeful than that narrative suggests.
Maybe the problem isn't that America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it. 59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good, like after NBC canceled The West Wing. I don't get it. You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave?
Bill Maher's criticism of his own party is not about supporting or dismissing serious issues. Instead, he says he is highlighting a trend that genuinely concerns him, a Democratic Party that, in his view, no longer shows enough appreciation for the country. From AOC's comments about voters to Cori Bush's remarks about stolen land, Maher argues the party has moved from constructive criticism to a far more negative view of America. Maher argues that despite its flaws, America remains one of the best places to live and build a future. He believes Democrats risk losing voters if they focus too heavily on criticizing the country instead of embracing a stronger sense of patriotism. Whether the party accepts that message remains to be seen.